Hello, this is Liz Wendling, and welcome to the Sales Experts channel and my webinar on how to avoid the common cold email mistakes that ruin sales relationships. When done well, cold emails really do work. When done poorly, your messages will be deleted with disappointing frequency. Sending well-crafted and well-written prospecting messages can be a great way to attract clients, generate leads, start online conversations that lead to those offline relationships and business. And the flip side of that is sending cold emails that completely miss the target and are the most effective way to lose staggering amounts of business and destroy your credibility. So I just want to start with some full transparency. If you're here because you're looking for a way to prospect with little or no effort, or you're looking for that magic bullet or the shortcut, secret formula, or the one script for social selling that will send you endless qualified prospects, I promise you this webinar is not for you. But if you're looking for specific and strategic ways to build trust and credibility and start online conversations without abusing, annoying, and alienating prospects in the process, then stick around. You can send emails that make you stand out and pique curiosity and interest. You can prospect and send emails that make you stand out and actually get people to read and respond to your emails. And I say that with complete confidence because many professionals and salespeople you're up against are sending crappy, stale, old school, salesy, spammy, self-serving messages that create resistance, no interest, that destroy trust instead of create trust. I'm just looking at my slide here, sorry. Okay, there it is. Okay, I am one of the 75 global experts on the Sales Experts channel, and I always encourage people to visit the site and sign up for all of the additional content and webinars that are on the site, filled with information and knowledge. Because the world of sales is big, it's complex, and it's layered. You have access to experts that specialize in super specific areas that you need. And all the information on the Sales Experts channel is included in the webinar notes, along with my contact information, links to my websites and books, and ways to get a hold of me after the webinar. And later on, I'll give you a link to access some free audio training. Now, my company is Insight Business Consultants, and I am the author of Sell Without Selling Your Soul and The Heart of Authentic Selling. As a sales and business consultant, much of my work these days revolves around helping individuals and companies to revive, refresh, and modernize their sales approach, their sales language, and their sales process. I show them how their sales language patterns and habits can either help their efforts or hurt their efforts to communicate successfully and close more business. I teach them how to turn their words into profits. And my favorite people to work with are those growth-oriented professionals who are ready and they're willing to be more conscious, more authentic, and more intentional about the approach they're using to engage prospects and clients. And they're ready to rise above that noise that is deafening these days with an approach to start engaging people with a meaningful and deliberate approach. So on our agenda today is we are going to scratch the surface around some of those common cold email mistakes that are happening every day. I'm going to show you some of the email train wrecks that land in inboxes all over the world, and then some suggestions of what to do instead. Then we'll talk about those words and phrases that either get people to read and respond to your messages or send them right to the delete or even to spam. It will be up to you to take responsibility for your messages because at the end of the day, you are either respecting or abusing someone's inbox with every message you send. And then we will begin to identify a cold email approach that works for you and distinguishes your business. One size does not fit all, and templates that are used for the masses only adds to the noise and winds up getting you nowhere. A tailored and targeted approach allows you to be more effective and efficient when you are in your prospecting activities. And I'm going to share with you one approach today. I have 42 more minutes to share an approach with you. There are many approaches. Please know this is not the one and only, because there are dozens of platforms and methods and systems and processes to prospect, and all of them have a different combination to do so. This is one piece to plug into your prospecting efforts, and then you can take it from there. And then we'll talk about the top prospecting and social selling mistakes, the mistakes that are costing you income. The receiver of emails today are getting really good at spotting the types of messages that sound and feel like spam to them. Inboxes are becoming saturated with virtually identical messages, and those messages are actually training your potential clients, your potential customers to completely ignore you. And I have a bunch of examples to show you. Now, keep in mind, there is no way I can sit here and tell you exactly what to say in your messages. I can't, because I have no clue where you are in your sales process, who you're trying to start a conversation with, where you are in your prospecting plan, and the biggest one is I don't know your personality, your style, your industry, your business, your goals, or what you're trying to accomplish. But I know you're smart and you can get creative and take what you hear today and fit that into your world and make that fit for your business. And then if you need some help implementing or have any questions, you can always contact me. Now, right now, there's a lot of contradicting advice, messages, and information out there when it comes to prospecting, whether it's on social media, email, or LinkedIn. And the worst advice is believing that you can set it and forget it, that you can automate connection, trust, value, and credibility. There are many automation products being sold right now, and these products have led to email laziness and self-serving messages. Now, even though people swear that they're not sending these self-serving messages and they declare that they're client-focused and they're all about the customer, their messages and emails tell a completely different story. And it's really hard to miss some of those big, bold promises that are out there and those outrageous claims that declare that all you have to do to be successful when prospecting is to buy some guru's ultimate lead generation program or download someone's word-for-word script that works every time, or that one email template that's guaranteed to secure appointments while you're fast asleep. And all you have to do is turn on the automation, send emails, endless emails to anyone with an inbox, sit back and watch your bank account grow. You are too smart to believe that. You cannot automate the human touch. You can't automate a personal experience and the authenticity of a personalized message. Customized messages will trump automated every single time. Now, people will often say to me, I don't have time to customize or personalize my messages. I hear this all the time. Who has the time to research every person I want to email? I can't look up every profile on LinkedIn to everyone I message. And what they're really saying is that it's easier to take shots in the dark, play the numbers game, cross their fingers, and hope their email hits the target and lands in the right inbox. Look, business development takes time. Personal relationships take time, and trust takes time. Credibility as well. If you're going to do the work, why not take the time to do it in a way that produces results instead of waste enormous amounts of time and energy? I tell my clients, it's like saying, I'm going to vacuum my entire house, but I don't have time to plug the vacuum in. I'm just way too busy to do that. I just need to get the activity of vacuuming done. Well, sure, you can make a lot of marks in the carpet, and it looks like you worked really hard, but you didn't get any results. You only wasted time and energy, and that's what I see so many people doing online today. They're doing the activity. They are prospecting, but the way they're prospecting has them running headfirst into a brick wall. You can change that. Now, one of the things I hear every day from potential clients that you're trying to email and cold prospect, and then I hear things from people like you who are doing the prospecting, and the people that you're looking to engage and communicate with are actually saying things like this. I'm tired of being on the end of the receiving end of endless emails and sales pitches from people who only want to sell me something. They say things like, don't people do any research on me before they send me a message that wasn't even meant for me? Do people think that sending me their calendar link works to build credibility and trust right out of the gate? I wish random strangers would stop asking me to download their book or sign up for their webinar. Do people really think that sending me a birthday wish on LinkedIn and then incorporating a sales pitch is a way to build value, or sending me articles that may not be relevant to me? And finally, when are people going to take the hint that an email that is self-serving and all about them is a turnoff? It makes it so easy to delete their email or mark it as spam. That is what they're saying. That is what's landing in their inboxes, and they're tired of it. Now, this is what I hear from professionals like you, people who are doing the activities and actually doing the work, the good work to get out there to try to build your businesses. So here's what I hear people like you saying. I can't get anyone to return my emails. No one is responding to any of my LinkedIn messages. I send message after message or email after email, and I keep getting blown off. I wish prospects would respond instead of avoiding me. All I want is for people to be respectful and just get back to me. Why is it so hard to send me a text or a quick email and let me know they're not interested? Can you hear what's going on here? There's a giant disconnect between the very people you want to connect and engage with and what you're doing. Your attempts to connect with them are causing a disconnect. The gap between you and your potential client is big and it's wide, and only you can close that by changing your approach and stop sending mass messages like the examples I'm about to share. Now, I know this. People don't mind getting cold email messages. They don't even mind getting a cold call from a stranger or being interrupted, as long as the message is valuable and as long as that message piques their interest. The interruption is never welcome if you don't say something that grabs their attention and makes someone pause and think, this is interesting, or, this sounds different, or this may be worth replying to find out more. I'm having this issue, so maybe it is worth having a conversation with this person. And you can do that. You can change that by changing your language. Now, before we get into the examples, I do want to talk about the two most hated words in sales, and that is cold calling. You've probably heard that people say cold calling is dead. No one picks up the phone anymore, and cold calling doesn't work. They declare this, they stop doing it, and they never use the phone again. And all they're really saying is, I don't know how to use the phone effectively, and it's not working, so it must not work. And they throw that option out. Now, those professionals who hate the idea of cold calling won't go anywhere near it. But get this, people who won't pick up the phone and attempt to talk to someone, they have no problem barging into someone's inbox with the equivalent of a cold call disguised as an email, otherwise known as what I call a virtual sales pitch. They delude themselves into believing that typing a cold email is different than picking up the phone and cold calling someone, and it's not. So I want to start with a couple of examples, and we'll talk about each one, and then we'll talk about the mistakes and what's actually happening, and then we'll get into the fix, because I can't get into a fix unless I show you what is actually happening and what are the emails that are landing in people's inbox. So the first example, I get dozens of these a week, and I'm sure you have as well, where you get a LinkedIn message where right after you connect with someone, within minutes, sometimes even split seconds, you get an email through your LinkedIn messaging that says, hey Liz, it's great to connect. I was looking at your profile and read some of your articles, which I find it hard to believe when we just connected and they've already read my articles. I'd love to hop on a quick call and learn more about you and your work with business owners and attorneys. We help professionals create the best online experience for visitors to their website and may be able to assist you as well. How does your schedule look for a quick chat? Well, I don't appreciate being sold immediately after a connection, and I don't know anyone online that does. So pump the brakes here. Too much, too fast will always blow your chances. Anytime you think just because you are connected to someone, I don't care if it's minutes after a LinkedIn message or even the next day, it is too soon to be selling to someone. And right in the second sentence, I'd love to hop on a quick call. You want me to give you time when you haven't done anything to make me want to give you my valuable time. You went right into a sales pitch. And example number 2 comes across as a very self-serving sales pitch. Hi, Liz. I came across your profile on LinkedIn and thought I would reach out to you. My name is Ted, and I head up the business development efforts at XYZ. We recently launched a new platform that helps business owners like you, like yourself, generate an endless stream of qualified leads right into your inbox. I'd love to speak with you about your lead generation and how it's working. Can I get 15 minutes of your time? Again, somebody barging into my inbox with an all-purpose email all about Ted. All about Ted's virtual sales pitch. He wants 15 minutes of my time. And he's not talking to me about my pains and problems or issues or says anything about what I may be up against in my business. He just took what sounds like a cold call and turned it into an email. So imagine the phone ringing and you saying this to someone. It's the same exact thing as a cold call, and it ends with, no thanks, I'm in the middle of a meeting, or no thanks. Only now, all I have to do is delete Ted's virtual sales pitch. So as you're listening to these examples, think to yourself, do I sound like this? Am I saying anything like this in my messages? Whether it's subtle or blatant, if the message is in there that I'm trying to sell you something, the chances of someone responding are slim to none. Let's do one more. This one was my favorite. Hi, Liz. I've put together a free ebook for smart and established business owners like yourself, and I was hoping to get your feedback. The book is called The 5 Secrets to Growing and Scaling Your Business. If you want to learn the secrets, and it inserted the link for me to click there. After you read it, if you have any questions or feedback, let me know, and I'd love to hop on a call. So here's this person. Why in the world would I download a stranger's book and then telling me that if I had any questions that I could call them? Why would I do that? Why would someone do that when there's nothing established here? This email came in, didn't even know who this person was. But they thought their book was of value, but they didn't even think about what I would consider value. They don't know anything about me or my business and didn't take the time to find out. So there's no benefit here. It's just another virtual sales pitch turned into a cold email. That sounds nice and generous by giving me your book, but it doesn't do anything to make me want to get on the phone with someone. When you get messages like this, or you hear messages like this, once you open and scan emails like this, how do you think people feel? Do you think they feel completely interested and totally inspired, enamored with insight, captivated by your ability to engage with them, or impressed by their knowledge of your industry? Not even close. It comes across as a virtual sales pitch, and the underlying message is all about them. It's all about them. So I tell my clients, anytime you're in the mood to aggravate or irritate, take this approach because it works 100% of the time. None of these people took the time to customize their message to me and make it look like you wrote it with a little intention to me. They said nothing that would elicit a response or lead me to believe that they know my industry and maybe what I'm struggling with in my business or what I'm up against. All it really sounds like is an advertisement. When you read those messages again, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a commercial, like somebody's 30-second commercial. Now, we don't even watch commercials on TV anymore. Why would I read them inside of my email? There are so many things that are vying for our attention these days, and we're getting more and more selective around what we give our attention to. And when these land in our inbox, it's mere seconds that these are deleted. And when you think about it, you have roughly 5 to 8 seconds to capture someone's attention. And when they're scanning your emails, and the receiver of your messages are making a quick decision to ask themselves questions like, is this worth my time? Is this another mass message or a sales pitch? Is this person wasting my time or somebody who may have some beneficial information for me? And what they're feeling when they open that is, can I make a connection? Is this someone that knows my world? And if it's not, again, someone replying to any messages like this are slim to none. And I want you to think about this. Never lose sight that when you're prospecting, when you are actually doing prospecting activities, you're not selling. Prospecting is prospecting, selling is selling. Prospecting efforts help you to open the opportunity to sell at another time. Too many people are mixing prospecting with selling, and that is the reason why the disappointing frequency of your emails, that's why they're being deleted. Your goal of prospecting is to get someone's attention and create interest that leads to that next step, and that could be a conversation. So to be effective, you need to be clear and concise, not pitchy and promotional. I'm going to say that again. You need to be clear and concise, not pitchy and promotional. And the examples that I shared with you come across as pitchy and promotional. If you want people to trust you, you have to keep them from thinking that you're just another person trying to sell them something. That's really big. If you want that trust, if you want that credibility, you don't want them to come to that conclusion that you're just someone else trying to sell them something. Now we're going to get in and do some cleanup. And I just want to check if there's any questions. No questions. All right, so let's move forward. Let's talk about the mistakes to avoid. And we're going to go over 6 of them, and there are many more. These are just the top 6 that I see every day. I read hundreds and hundreds of emails a week from companies and individuals. They're sending me their messages to take a look at why this isn't working, why their prospecting efforts are falling flat, why they can't get anyone to respond to their emails. And this is always what I see. And like I said, there's many, many more, but I want to start with these and then we'll get into the fix. So the first one is opening lines, your opening lines that sound cheesy and spammy. And a lot of messages, particularly spam messages, that start out with, how are you today? I hope this email finds you well. I know that you're busy. I trust you're having a good day. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Now, those sentences aren't for you. They come across cheesy and phony because, first of all, everyone is using them. They don't really land with any kind of impact. They make people roll their eyes. And I tell people that these messages are really for you. I know they make you feel like you may be connecting with someone, but they're not landing that way. They're actually coming across spammy. And a lot of spam messages do start with this. And when I look at my spam messages every morning, half of them start out with an opening line like this. So here's the fix to this, is get to the point. People are opening if they're opening your email, give them something that's worth reading. Don't waste precious time using these. How are you today? I hope you had a good weekend. Opening lines are for you. Now hear this. I'm not saying don't be nice. I'm not saying that at all. If you do feel the urge to be nice and want to add something, say it at the end. But remember, you're trying to engage people, not bore them. And those opening lines will bore them. You're wasting precious seconds, and stop doing that. It's going to be hard. It's a hard habit to break because I know you want to add those lines, but you can always add them and then at some point just delete them as you're writing your email. Put them in and then delete them right before you go and send them. Now I'm going to lean on the horn on this one a little bit, or quite a bit. It is essential that you don't start your prospecting emails talking about yourself. This is number 2. And I want to show you how dreadful this looks. Now this one is a very extreme case, but I do want you to see how self-serving all about me emails land. And my name is Alice. I wanted to, and I'm as a typo here, introduce myself and my services. I love connecting with business owners and entrepreneurs like yourself to help them discover what's been stopping them from doubling and tripling their businesses. I help them remove their roadblocks and obstacles, and I show them how to take swift and purposeful action. With 33 years of experience, I'm considered a leader in my industry, and I would love to share more about myself and blah, blah, blah. And she adds the link to her calendar. And I counted this message. There are seven I's in 2 paragraphs, all about Alice. And if, now this is blatant, but even if your messages are subtle with eyes, I can do this, I can help you with this, this is going to require a complete rewrite on your part. This does not land, and this is instantly goes to the delete button. No one is going to respond to that. Why would I click on a calendar link of someone who all she did was give me a commercial? This is the kind of things I fast forward through on TV and I delete in my inbox, and I'm sure many others do as well. So remember, don't make it about yourself. And it requires you to spend a little more time crafting those emails so you don't sound like this. All right, so now we're going to go to, there we go, mistakes to avoid. All right, let's go with number 3, making a connection, and we already talked about this, and immediately trying to sell. After you make a connection with someone and rushing into a sales pitch is something you need to stop immediately. Moving too quickly from connection to selling is the very thing that is aggravating and irritating people these days. No one wants to be sold to in this way. And remember, you are prospecting, you're not selling yet. And these are the kind of messages that come across very self-serving and do not land very well on people. So try your hardest, or I should say, no, don't even try your hardest. Stop doing this. Stop doing this to people. It does not work. Now let's move to number 4, coming across needy, which is not an attractive approach. And here's what that sounds like. After you've communicated with someone or engaged them in a few emails, and again, I see this all the time when I'm working with companies and individuals, and they are sending me their messages, and here's what it sounds like. They come across needy with words like, I haven't heard back from you, so I thought I would follow up again. Did you get a chance to read the article I sent? You may have missed my earlier email, so I'm resending. I know you're busy, so I thought I would try again. Are you still interested in talking? Can you please get back to me? If someone is ghosting you, resisting you, avoiding you, it's not because you're doing something that is piquing their interest. You're doing something that is making them want to resist that message. Your messages are not hitting the target. It means your messages need a makeover so they can land in a different way. And this is big time evidence. If you are being ghosted, resisted, and avoided, this is the biggest evidence you need to tell you that what you're saying and is actually pushing people away. It isn't drawing them in. And there's a fix to this. You never have to send messages like this when the first few contacts and messages that you send have a radically different approach to them. And then number 5 is to stop telling me that what you would love to do to my schedule, what you would love to do to me. I would love 20 minutes of your time. I would love to get together. I would love to do a demo. I would love to hop on a call. When you say to someone what you would love to do to them, that's not an invitation. That is telling them what you want. That's giving them a command versus inviting them into a conversation. People don't respond well to, I would love to hop on the phone with you. And they're thinking, of course you'd love to hop on the phone with me. You want to try to sell me something. That may not be your intent, but that is what they feel. That is what they're saying. So that statement of saying, I would love to hop on the phone with you, has the same energy and the same intention of saying to someone, I would love 30 minutes of your time to try to convince the hell out of you that you need what I'm selling. That's how it comes across. So think about that when you now start requesting time from people. Make it collaborative. Don't tell them what you want to do. I want you to be able to ask them and invite them, because people will not respond to a command, but they do respond to a request when it's collaborative. And number 6 is stop sending messages to the wrong people. Not reading someone's profile. For example, I open messages from people who ask me if I'm interested in attracting more clients and closing more sales. They didn't bother to take the time to read my profile, see the photos of the 4 out of 6 books I've written and what I speak on. Epic fail. That message will immediately be deleted. And in fact, it causes me to chuckle because it shows me how little work people are doing. They're just blasting everyone with the same message because they're using automation tools that send messages to all of their connections. So what they wind up doing is sending their entire LinkedIn network a message that is irrelevant to, I would bet, 90% or more of their entire network. And this is why I said earlier, automation is going to kill businesses. It's not going to help businesses. When you are sending mass emails to the wrong people, they just delete you and move on. And you can change this. Now, I'm not saying there isn't room for automation in businesses. I'm just saying that if you want to build trust and credibility, doing it with these mistakes is not the way to do that. So let's go ahead and start fixing that. Let's talk about what it looks like to do that. Now, I went ahead, and I'm not going to do a slide. I'm just free-flowing right now because I got a bunch of messages this morning in my inbox, and I always copy and paste them and save them for times just like this. But I first want to assume that you already know your world. You know the issues, challenges, pains, and problems that your potential clients are facing. You know what people are up against. You know it because you talk to them every day. You know how your products and services can help people, can fix their issues, and solve their problems. Now, I'm making a big assumption you know that. If you don't, I highly recommend you spend some time figuring that out, because that's what you're going to need in your messages. Because your messages must reflect that by leading with people's pains, problems, challenges, issues, headaches and heartaches and dilemmas, that will show them how much you know their world. Show them that you've done your homework and that you know about them and their business. No more of this, we're great at X, we're the best at Y, we specialize in Z, we provide this, our proprietary software can do that, we're number one at this. No more talking that way. You don't have to, because now you go into it understanding their examples. Now, none of the examples I'm about to share with you will have any of the opening lines that add no value. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you well. I trust you're having a good day. Blah, blah, blah. None of that. We're getting to the point. This is what people appreciate these days. They want you to get to the point. You have precious seconds. Don't waste it with those messages. So let me read you this one. Hi, Bob. Some of the key issues that are affecting the transportation industry right now are, and then you insert 3 or 4 challenges. So again, hi, Bob. Some of the key issues that are affecting the transportation industry right now are, whatever they are, you put that in there. Doesn't matter. You may not be in the transportation industry. Plug in what your industry is and the issues that you know they're facing. What that does is send a message, wow, this person knows my world. Now, here's one that I used on, I do a little work with family law firms and personal injury firms, because attorneys were never taught how to sell their services. And this one worked really well on LinkedIn for me, and I had some wonderful conversations with people because this hit a nerve. Now, I know exactly why family law firms are struggling, or a lot of law firms for that matter. And it's because I hear it every time I sit down or talk to them. So this is what I said. Hey, Mary, one of the biggest frustrations family law firms are challenged with is low conversion rates. They're investing in marketing, but those marketing dollars aren't returning in the form of new clients and new business. They're not sure what their attorneys are doing in their initial consultation that is causing ideal clients to leave without retaining them. They know this issue is costing them a fortune. And then I go into a couple more sentences after that. But what this does is it gives them an opportunity to say, well, no, we're doing okay with that, or nope, we close every client that walks in our door, or that's me. I'm struggling with that too. We're facing that right now as well. This lady really knows what I'm going through. And I took this approach because I just knew that that is exactly what was going to hit a nerve. And when you hit a nerve, you know that is an email that's going to land, it's going to be read, and it may even be responded to right away. Now, I could have took the approach, the self-serving approach, and I could have said, my name is Liz, and I help family law firms close more business. I can help them double or triple their conversion rates with my innovative system. Who cares? That's a commercial. So self-serving versus client-focused. self-serving versus client-focused. So here's a few more just to give you an idea of what they sound like when you lead with people's pains, problems, and challenges. The manufacturing companies we work with find themselves against tight budgets and pressures, and they're struggling to make a profit. They're looking for alternative ways to protect their customers from increased costs and maintain their profitability. One of the ways that we work with them is, and then you can talk a tiny bit about your solution. The consulting agencies we service are frustrated with how much their credit card processing fees are increasing every year. They know that there are options and they know that they have options and alternatives out there that can provide flexible this or accurate that, but they're unsure how to make a move to another company without costing a fortune. And one more. Two, a major concern we hear from personal injury attorneys is that their marketing is working and the phone is ringing, but their attorneys are struggling to get a client to retain them. I mean, that's painful. When someone hears that, it's like, oh yeah, I wonder what's going on. One more. Final one. Over the past decade, the cost of generating a qualified lead has quadrupled in the dental field. Dental practices are feeling, and then you insert the pain, the problem, the struggle. Now, I don't care. You can insert, you could be in the dental field, you can be a financial services company. It doesn't matter. When you talk about the issues and problems that you know people are facing, it sends a message, this person knows me. They know my world. So it's up to you to start making every word count in your emails. Every single word must count. It must be clear. It must be concise. When you're trying to get someone's attention or get them to talk to you or set up an appointment, you have very little time. You have very limited time. You have to know specifically what words are most likely going to get the result that you seek. And being generic and self-serving and spammy just won't do. You have to think about those words, and you have to write those words down. You cannot wing this. This is the part where people will resist the most, and they say, I don't have time to do this. But I promise you, you take the time to do this, and you will make every word count, and you will get people to respond to your emails. And there's nothing better than when people actually start responding, when you actually start getting people to engage with you. And if you're making any of these cold call email mistakes, you're going to ruin your chances of any kind of credibility or any kind of impact. And it may be time to put your prospecting approach under a microscope and see if your messages are focused on you. See if there's a lot of I statements in there. And if they're focused on you, all you have to do is stop and do a complete rewrite. If your messages and emails aren't being read and you can't get people to return, even your phone calls or your prospecting emails, it's just a sign that you're not close to the target and you may need an email makeover. One of my favorite things to do is to tweak and change and modify emails. So you will notice a visible change in how people perceive you and interact with you. But these days, there's too much competition today to be average, too much competition to be average in the messages that you're sending. Average doesn't cut it anymore if you want to rise above the noise. The development of effective language is going to take a little time and some practice. Not forever, but only until you dial down into the messages that convey exactly what you want to say before you hit the send button. Read it a few times and see if it really has the impact and the drama that it needs to have in order for somebody to say, this sounds interesting, or I really want to talk to this person. Like I said earlier, crafting well-written emails can work, but they will force you to clarify your intention and concentrate the power of your sales messages. You can write a well-written email that does a virtual slap in the face to someone, a nice slap in the face, where you get their attention and they stop long enough to say, I think I'll save this email, or I'll do something about it, or this may be someone I might want to look up online or reconnect with on LinkedIn. So remember, it's not going to take forever. It's only until you train yourself to start sending those engaging emails that get read and responded to. So I gave you all that I can in the time that I have, but that's not all I have. Like I said, if you want help, we can do an email makeover and get your emails back on track, because if you're doing the work, why not do it in a way that gets you the results you're looking for? And even if it just needs a little tweak, an update, or a complete overhaul, I am an email or phone call away. And the information is on the screen. And if you want to start with downloading my free audio gift, I go into a little more depth in some of the things that we talked about today, but it gives you a little more insight into why people may not be engaging with you, why they're not responding to you, why they're blowing you off. That is so painful when you put so much work into what you're doing to get completely dismissed. So you can start sending those messages that land with impact and deliver results. And you can do that starting today. I hope this gave you some insight into what to do and what not to do. Until the next time, thank you for being here.